something about motorcycles that's hard to explain to people who don't ride. Because to most people, it looks like noise, danger, and just a machine. But for those of us who ride, we know it's something deeper than that. There's something that happens when you throw a leg over your bike in the early morning, when the air is still cold, when your gloves finally warm up around the grips, and the road opens up in front of you. That feeling is why so many of us choose to adventure this way. Not because we're trying to run away from life, but because somewhere deep down, we feel alive again. A few buddies and I left paradise, heading south towards Columbia State Historic Park. Nothing crazy, just 4 guys on motorcycles taking the long way through Northern California. But somewhere between the back roads, the small towns, the curves, and the silence inside my helmet, I started thinking about why rides like this matter so much. Because honestly, life gets loud. Responsibilities pile up, work, bills, stress, bad news, phones consistently buzzing. And sometimes it feels like the world is trying to squeeze the life right out of you, just a little bit at a time. But then you get out here, you hit a stretch of open road, the trees start rolling by, and the mountains open up. And for a few moments, you can actually breathe again. I think a lot of riders understand that feeling, but I also think there's something spiritual happening in it too. Because I don't believe God created us just to survive life. I think He created us for wonder and for adventure, for the moments that wake us back up. Psalms 19 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands." And I don't know about you, but I feel that out here more than almost anywhere else. Not the noise, not the rush, but out on the road, looking across the valleys, riding through mountain curves, watching the sunlight break through the trees. There's just something about creation that reminds you that God is still present, still moving, still speaking. And I'd like to think that's part of why motorcycles still connect with so many people. Because riding forces you to be present. You can't fake it on a motorcycle. You feel every temperature change. You smell every pine tree. You notice the weather rolling in. You feel every corner, every bump, and every mile. And for a little while, all the distractions disappear. It's your native tongue. What is this you're talking? Oh, baby. Scott? How's it? Food. Chip salsa? Good. What'd you get, Mark?
Chip and salsa.
That's it?
What'd you get? What didn't you get?
Wow. Thanks for waiting for us.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Did you pray for that? I hope you don't choke. Now, don't get me wrong. Adventure can become an escape too. Some people, they run to the road because they're trying to outrun something else. Pain, failure, loneliness, regret. And the truth is, no amount of throttle can permanently fix what's happening inside of us. Eventually, every ride ends. Eventually, the helmet comes off. Eventually, we still have to face whatever we've been carrying. But I do think God could meet us out here. Sometimes the healing starts the moment we finally slow down enough to listen. And for me, rides like this are a reminder that life was never meant to be only about schedules and survival. There's still beauty, still brotherhood, still adventure, and still purpose. There's something unique about places like Columbia State Historic Park. You don't just visit it, you kind of step into it. Walking these streets almost feels like traveling back in time to the California gold rush of the 1850s, when thousands came here chasing the promise of gold, opportunity, and a better life. Back then, Columbia was booming. At one point, this little town was one of the largest cities in California. People came from all over the world hoping to strike it rich in the Sierra foothills. Miners, merchants, blacksmiths, saloons, stagecoaches. This place was alive with ambition, risk, and adventure. And honestly, walking around here today, you can still feel a piece of that history. The wooden sidewalks, the old brick buildings. It's a reminder of how quickly life can change when people are willing to chase something bigger than themselves. What's interesting is that most people that came here never actually found massive amounts of gold, but they still found something. Some found purpose, some found community. Some built businesses and families instead of fortunes. And maybe that's what makes Columbia so interesting. Because the deeper story of the gold rush was never really about the gold. It was about hope, about adventure, about people willing to leave comfort behind and take a risk on something unknown. Honestly, riding motorcycles kind of taps into that same spirit. The open road, the unknown, the freedom, the adventure waiting around the next corner. And maybe that's why a ride to places like this just feels a little different. Because towns like Columbia remind us that life was never meant to be lived standing still. Sometimes you have to take the road less traveled. Sometimes you have to chase the experience instead of the destination. And sometimes the real treasure you find isn't what you expected at all. It's the memories, the people beside you, the stories you'll tell later, and the reminder that adventure still exists if you're willing to go look for it.
Hey, I really appreciate you watching this all the way to the end. It means a lot to me. See you next time.